Welcome again to Cheesy Dan's Reviews. I'm Cheesy Dan. This is the perfect place for a picky eater to pick their preferred piece of pizza. If you're like me and you love pizza, this is the best place for you to find out who has the best cheese for your dough. Hello and welcome back to Cheesy Dan Reviews. I'm Cheesy Dan. Today we're going to be reviewing the CiCi's Pizza Large Alfredo Cheese Pizza. Now, if you're not familiar with the CiCi's brand, this is a dine-in buffet style pizza. If you've been there before, put in the comments, what was your experience? I know in the last two times we went to it, the experience was not the best. They were having trouble keeping up with their buffet, and the dining area was actually very full of plates that needed to be taken care of, and it seemed like they were having staffing issues. However, I have had previous experience with their pizza that I enjoyed, so I thought let's go ahead and let's give this pizza a try and see what we think. Sorry for the interruption. I just wanted to take a little bit of moments here just to clarify my statements on the experience the last two times I had gone to CiCi's to eat in as a buffet. Both times they were extremely short-staffed and they were struggling. They were doing the best they could. You could see all the wait staff and everyone working as hard as they could. Unfortunately, just due to a lack of staffing, they were truly struggling with keeping up. On the second visit, it was actually kind of a unique experience, both frustrating and also a little bit, rewarding. We went there; they were really struggling trying to keep up with the food deliveries and the food orders, and so much so that they actually ran out of clean plates because they just didn't have the time to bust the tables. All of the people there were kind of recognizing their stress, and instead of getting mad at the workers, we all just started getting up and bussing the tables and clearing the tables for them to help them get their jobs done. It was kind of a unique experience, something I've not experienced before at a restaurant, so much so that the shift manager actually went out and started handing out free coupons to come back to get a free buffet, and he was just extremely appreciative of what the people there were doing. Like I said, nothing against the employees. It wasn't their fault. It was just two times in a row with such short staffing. It made it hard to enjoy the visit. So again, pardon the intrusion. We can see box right here. Let's go ahead and open it up. Let's get our first initial view of what the pizza looks like. Now, initial review looks pretty good. The bread looks like it's been well cooked. Looks like it's a thin style crust, which I do like. There's not really a whole lot of grease that's visible here. The cheese has good coverage, covering all the way to the sides. So when it comes to giving it a review as far as initial appearance, I'm going to put initial appearance of right about a 7. It looks very appetizing. Looks like something I'd enjoy eating. Now, price point, this pizza comes in with taxes right around $12. That does put it in line with most other large one-topping pizzas. And in the grand scheme, there's a lot of places that consider this to be a specialty pizza, which would charge more for it. So I would say in that regard, I'm going to put it at a 7. It could definitely be cheaper when you talk about the world of quick-to-go, fast food style pizzas, but at the same time, not a bad value for the money. Now, the only thing left to do is put it to the taste test. So, let's see how it tastes. Now, initial here, you can see again, thin style crust. Crust is well cooked. Cheese looks like it's on there pretty good. I know I've had a previous experience where when you eat Alfredo cheese, when they're really hot, the cheese can be very loose. This one, since I picked it up and brought it home, it's gotten to the stage of being warm, so the cheese is good and solid. Let's see what it tastes like. Now, you may not be as much of a fan of the Alfredo cheese. Personally, myself, I do like it a lot. This one, you can taste a little bit of the cooking oils that are in there. I can't quite pin my finger on what it is, but the cheese itself is good. It's got a good texture. It's got good consistency. The bread doesn't get in the way. It's a good tasting bread. I'm going to say the overall taste of it, I'm going to put it at a 6, just simply because there is quite a bit of like a oil taste to it, and it does kind of stick with you as far as the way the taste goes. I have had other Alfredo cheese pizzas that definitely taste a little bit better, but if you've got a hungry for, or a hankering, should I say, for an Alfredo cheese pizza, it's not a bad way to go. Let's take a bite just of the crust so I can get just a little bit more just the crust. Yeah, I think a little bit of what I might be tasting, there might be a little bit of a garlic spray or a garlic butter that's been added to it, and that may have a little impact on the way the bread is tasting. If you like that, that's a definite plus for you. If you're not a fan of the garlic taste, not really going to be your thing. But I would say this, overall, not a bad start for day one. Well, the only thing left to do is we're going to have to put this in a Ziploc bag, put it in there in the fridge for until day 3. Come back and taste it and see what we think. And you may ask yourself too, why do we always do the day 3 test? If you're like me, a lot of times when you order pizza, you've ordered enough to make sure you have a little bit left over because you want to make it for lunch for tomorrow, or maybe a dinner for the following day. So part of the value of the pizza is not just the initial taste, but it's also what does it taste like on day 3, because if it's no good on day 3, then it kind of lowers the value of the pizza, or maybe you need to get a smaller pizza because you know that you don't want to eat it as a leftover. So that's the main reason why I find the day 3 to be such an important value.
3 days later.
Welcome back. We're now on day 3 of the CiCi's large Alfredo cheese pizza, and we just got it out of the fridge. Let's take a look. Overall, seems like it held up pretty decent. Let's see what it looks like once it comes out of the bag. Toss that aside. So, as you can see, the cheese overall doesn't look like it's changed much at all. Bread seems to be holding up pretty well. So, I guess at this point, the next thing we can do, stick it on a plate, put it in the microwave, or we can try what 2 other people have recommended to us. I've had 2 comments so far that have kind of said that they're not a huge fan of reheating using the microwave. They said instead I should try the oven or even an air fryer. Let's give that a try instead. After some quick internet research, I found that you can reheat in your air fryer at 350 degrees for about 3 to 5 minutes, or until you see the cheese starting to melt. So, why not try it? Let's see how it goes. Well, you can hear the sizzle, so it's definitely heated up. I haven't tried this before, so this is kind of new for me. Maybe if this works out, I'll have to try a comparison between the microwave oven and then air frying. Let's slide it off here. Put that back, close that back up. So, yeah. Yes, I was struggling just a little bit to get this in focus. Forgive me. Next step then is to let it cool off. Let's give it a taste and see how day 3 looks for this CiCi's pizza. Now that it's had a few moments to cool off, we can see here the consistency stuck pretty well. It looks very similar to what it did on day 1. As far as the base of the pizza goes, it does have a little bit of a softer feel, which is kind of normal for day 3. You do pretty consistently see that effect on a 3rd day after having it stored inside of a freezer bag inside the fridge for a couple days. So not abnormal by any means. I did try the air fryer for the first time, and I was informed I made a rookie mistake. I did leave a cooking pan in the very bottom, So that can affect a little bit of the way the heat rises up to touch the bottom of the bread. So maybe that would have been resolved a little bit when I've done it correctly. But you live and you learn, and we're all trying to figure it out together. So let's give it a taste and let's see how it is after having been reheated in the air fryer versus being in a microwave. Awkward pause. I could see why somebody would prefer to use the air fryer. It definitely doesn't come out nearly as spongy as it does normally when it's inside the microwave, and does seem to be overall cooked more evenly than the microwave does. So, hey, thanks for the assistance for those that recommended I try the air fryer. Now, for the pizza itself, really hasn't lost much of its texture, its taste, its consistency. It feels like it's pretty consistent with what it was on day one. So when I was able to give it a day one score of 6 for taste, I feel like it held up well enough that I can actually uphold that score for day 3 of giving it a score of 6. So when I add all 4 of those scores up, that comes up with a cheesy score of 6.5. And out of the different pizzas we've tested so far, that lines up pretty well, especially for a specialty pizza that's only about 12 bucks. So I'd have to say, even though the score is just a little over half, I would still say a 6.5 cheesy score is not too shabby for this pizza, and I would say I'd give it a recommend. Go ahead and give it a try. Now, if you've had any experience with an Alfredo that you like better, put that in the comments. Or maybe you've had experience with reheating a pizza differently that you think I ought to try. Put it down in the comments and I'll give it a try and see how it does. And who knows, maybe we'll have a future video where we do a comparison with the different reheating methods and see which one truly is the best for reheating 3-day pizza. But until then, like, comment, share, and until we eat again, stay cheesy.